look like that Mr. Darcy, you know, in Pride and Prejudice.
Come again?
You know, when he comes walking out the lake? Never mind. Do you want me to put it in the tumble dryer?
Oh, no, it's fine. I'll put it through the wash when I get home. Save me put it on a rinse cycle, eh?
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, by the way, put a new washer on for you because you had a leaky O-ring.
A what?
It's a little rubber seal that goes on your pipe.
Oh? Well, I've never had anybody fix my leaky O-ring before.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
Hello and welcome to episode 368 of The Talk of the Street, an unofficial Coronation Street catch-up podcast whose O-ring might not be leaky, but given the age of the pipe, it's surely just a matter of time. I'm Gavin.
And I am impressed by how quickly Theo has perfected the Kubrick stare.
The Kubrick stare or the 2-second smile fade?
No, the Kubrick stare. You know, like Jack Nicholson in The Shining and Vincent D'Onofrio in Full Metal Jacket. Yes, yeah, exactly. Just like that.
But also the 2-second smile fade. But
that's not really impressive.
That's more of a broomism.
And that's not really impressive.
Fuck you, of course it's impressive.
Not as impressive as the Kubrick stare.
The jury is out.
Because everybody on the show does the 2-second smile fade.
I haven't been doing it very often recently.
Not everybody does the Kubrick stare.
It was pleasing to see it.
It's just Theo.
Back for 2025.
Yeah.
How are you this week?
Yeah, I'm all right. You're not.
I am sponsored by being ill this month.
Yes. Last week it was tummy troubles, and this week it's just like...
I had a cold. I had a heavy cold. A heavy summer cold.
That's what we're calling it, a heavy summer cold.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I've got a lot of construction going on inside the building near where I sit. And so there's been a lot of dust. And then the air quality here has been fucking diabolical lately.
Yeah, thanks to those goddamn Canadians burning down their wild forests. Not intentionally, of course. But yes, the Canadian wildfire smoke has been especially awful this year.
Yeah, thanks for your wildfires, pal.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Canada.
I'm not your buddy, pal.
I'm not your pal guy.
And so on and so forth.
Etc.
So I thought it was that. They were just getting in my sinuses and stuff. And maybe it has been to a certain extent.
Maybe that's part of it.
But, I tell you, 18 hours in bed.
It'll fix you right up.
Starting to feel a bit more human. Which is important because when you start to do a podcast and you start to do bonus episodes and bonus content.
Yeah, you need to be awake.
You start to feel responsible for doing that sort of thing. So
we delight the thousands and millions and billions of people who listen to us every week.
Literally dozens. And don't you think that we don't appreciate it? That's what's dragged me out of my bed this week.
Absolutely.
It feels like our preamble has come to a natural end.
Yes, a shorter end than normal, but that's okay.
A shorter end than normal. The number of times I've heard that.
You need to get back to your bed.
Yep. Shall we preamble, my dear, then?
Yes, please.
Give us some of that infectious Corrie news.
Catherine Tilsley is officially coming back to the cobbles, and she won't be alone. She's dragging Aaron McCusker and Pauline McLynn back with her to play her husband and mother-in-law.
There is a very obvious joke here. Have you spotted it?
Probably not. Does it have to do with Pauline McLynn having been on Father Ted?
It does.
You okay?
So let's think about that a little bit more.
Does it have something to do with Billy, who's also a vicar?
No.
I'm assuming Father Ted was a vicar. Was he a vicar or was he a...
He was a Irish priest.
Oh, okay. So he was really actually Catholic. Yes. I haven't watched Father Ted. I apologize.
And that's why I think that the joke maybe wouldn't be so obvious to you, but I'm happy that you found the first strand towards it.
Right.
Because Pauline McLynn, who played Mrs. Doyle
Right. Who loved her tea?
Not just her tea. What else did she love?
I don't know. I just know she loves her tea.
What goes with tea?
Cookies?
Now translate that into Irish.
Biscuits?
Fancier than a biscuit.
Cookies?
We've said cookies already.
What other word
And
is
now,
there?
and now think of the destination, which is Catherine Tilsley-Dale.
Well, Tilsley. It's
Yes.
not really Dale.
No, but that's what you
I
said
used to say
twice.
that. I said that twice a long time ago, and you've never let me live it down.
No, because it's funny.
I don't know any other words for cookies or biscuits.
Well, it's not quite a cookie or a biscuit. It's a bit fancier than that.
A cake?
But a cake. A cake. There we go. Now, why is that funny?
Because of Catherine Tilsley's feud with that bakery.
There
we go. We got there.
There we go.
We got there.
Have
We
I
got
got
there
a,
in the end.
Have I got a sting that'll...
Evil dies tonight!
That's right.
Close enough.
Yes, especially when it's covered in gluten.
So all we need is... What's this guy? She's Maggie, I think. She's Maggie, her Eva Price's mother-in-law.
Right.
All we need her to do is to offer Eva a cupcake, and the internet will break
Yes.
just by me posting about
Or
it.
at least portions of the internet will break.
Well, that's good. We
And
spent
then-
a good couple of minutes talking about that.
And then buy cookies.
So this has been on the cards for months, and it's finally been confirmed.
Right, yes.
And we're going to meet Susie again.
Yes.
Little baby Susie, who'll be
Who will
7.
not be a little baby.
She'll be 7 years old.
I know. That's great.
And I think the guy's got kids of his own, but nobody cares enough to think about them.
No. This is the news, not the spoilers. So,
Right.
yeah. Condolences to the family of Frank Grimes, who has died at the age of 78. In addition to playing Barry Connor, he also appeared on Mrs. Brown's Boys and Casebook of Sherlock Holmes, amongst other things. I'm assuming, because he did win a BAFTA, and I'm assuming he didn't win a BAFTA for Mrs. Brown's Boys or
I don't know. People love that shit.
Coronation Street. Oh,
Nobody I
maybe
know.
Coronation
Nobody I know loves that shit, but people do love that shit.
Isn't it weird that people love that shit?
And,
It's like,
and you don't know anybody who...
it's 2025. Haven't we progressed as a species? I mean, obviously not, but you know.
Yeah. As you were halfway through that, you're starting to answer your own question.
Yes, I am.
But what a great name.
What, Frank Grimes? Mm-hmm. When I think Grimes, I just think of Elon Musk's ex-wife.
I think of Homer's enemy from The Simpsons.
Which one?
From the episode Homer's Enemy.
Was his name Frank Grimes?
It was indeed. That's why I think of that.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think that was intentional?
No.
That they knew there was another Frank Grimes out there? It just feels like a very weird name to give someone.
No, it's a fairly popular first name and a mediocre popular last name, would have thought.
Frank, Franklin,
Francis.
Francois.
You'll get a little bit continental there, ooh la la.
Just a wee bit. And finally, Millie Gibson.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
Yes. Condolences.
Yes, condolences.
Yes.
Yes. Do you remember Barry Connor? Johnny's brother?
Not really. Got to be honest.
Well, he was.
I mean, I recognise his face now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah. He's Johnny's brother. Back when all that hoo-ha was first starting.
He taught Johnny how to make chili con carne.
Right, yes.
Without rice.
And how to cheat on his wife. And procreate with peace on the side. But anyway, enough about Carla's progeny. Or not progeny. Birth story.
Oh,
anyway,
just
I'm just going to stop
you're never
now.
going to find a satisfactory ending to that sentence.
I'm really not. And finally, Millie Gibson has conquered Coronation Street and the TARDIS, and now she's taking on Victorian England in a new limited series based on the Forsyte saga. So we'll get to see Millie with a corset, and she's got red hair now. She's not blonde in this. She's a redhead.
yeah, I think
She's
she
a
can rock
ginger.
that.
Yeah, it looks nice. And she's wearing, period dress with a corset and all that stuff. and her hair all like piled on top of her head. So very, very different from Kelly and Ruby Sunday. So it'll be exciting
Which
to watch.
you would hope, considering it's set like
In
150
Victorian
years
England,
ago.
yes, and I don't think that they went back to Victorian England during Millie's time in the TARDIS, because it was hard enough taking Shuri Gatwa to 1950s America. Just imagine what the racism would have been like against him in Victorian England.
It's amazing, but the whole of the universe is your playground, the number of times that Doctor Who went to London.
Right, this is true. London?
And did they ever do that?
No. They were never shocked about going to London.
And if anyone should have been shocked, it should have been them,
You would think.
with the whole universe as their playground.
Right, yes. But, the Queen kept calling him back. And UNIT, which is based in London, as opposed to the other one that's based in Wales. And
Very much losing interest in this.
absolutely, that's Corrie News.
And that is Corrie News, which leads us a rambly old path, overgrown in places.
This is true.
Maybe needing a little bit of TLC, but anyway, the destination is everyone's a critic. Gary Lee writes in on the YouTube, sipping Yorkshire tea, pondering Abi pregnant with her husband's brother's baby, and Gary thinks that Costello is the mutual friend. Remember, at the end of last week's show, Aunt from Ant and Dec got beat up in prison
Right, because of
by
our
someone,
mutual
and there was
friend.
a mutual friend.
Yeah.
I thought it might have been Kit.
No.
Old Gary Lee thinks Costello is a reasonable shout, and I think that
Costello
is a reasonable
is a
shout.
good shout, yes. Considering how many times he keeps sending Swain home.
But not firing her.
Right. Which
Keep
is
your
interesting.
enemies close,
Yes.
and your friends even closer.
Yes.
Or possibly the other way around.
Something like that.
Then Gary writes, imagine reaching this stage of life to discover that my calling is to be the interpreter of Gav's obscure references. His profane rendition of Nothing from Nothing is surely a hat tip to Eddie Murphy's Raw from the 1980s. I claim my £5. And Gary, you are correct. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Headed something. Motherfucker, punch you in the mouth. I thought it was from Delirious. But it's not. It's from Raw. Because I had to look it up. But it is Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. Maybe let's retire the Eddie Murphy impersonation broom. It sounds too much like Cartman.
Well, don't you think that's true?
Is Eddie Murphy
Eddie Murphy was
Cartman?
doing a voice
Yeah.
of his father in that skit.
Yeah.
No £5, Gary, sorry, and no refunds. Lindsay writes, first time we've seen Chesney for a while, and Mike drops boring moment of the week almost instantly. I've put a wash on. Also, how amazing was Debbie this week? I hate that she's been written out of the show. Thank you as always for brightening up our week. Thank you very much, Lindsay. And I think, yes, that is definitely an odds-on favourite for boring moment of the week, but we'll have to wait until the end of the show to see what Helen decides.
Yes. Let's not forget, Ken does make an appearance this week.
And he can't solve a crossword puzzle.
He can't.
That's quite boring.
He can't solve a crossword puzzle unless he has Cassie's help.
And it was a fairly easy crossword puzzle.
Yeah. What's going on there?
But hey, we've already proved to the masses that I'm a very poor judge of what an easy and a hard crossword puzzle clue is. Fiona writes, wait. I've been listening for however many years, and I'm only now finding out that Helen is my birthday twin.
Us Leos, we got to stick together, man.
Yep.
Yeah, it's you and me and Will Wheaton and NASA and your former brother-in-law.
Yeah, those are the 4 people who share your birthday.
Yes.
I don't share your birthday, though.
Huh?
I don't share your birthday, but I'm a Leo.
Yeah, you're like right on the cusp between Leo and Virgo.
I'm a week before the end of Leo.
Can you imagine my family, myself, and one of my brothers both being Leos, and the other one and my mother being Virgos? What a crazy household that was.
You believe all that shit?
I believe in Leo energy because I have the personality of a lion.
Do you?
Yes. I'm very sure of myself. I like to hunt bargains. And also...
We're really struggling to find the end of sentences today, aren't we?
And also, I bring home the bacon to your glorious mane.
Okay.
No, Leos tend to be very arrogant and self-centered and think that they know everything.
But that's the opposite of me.
That's not true. You're not as bad as I am, but you know how smart you are. And you're not afraid to show it.
Oh, shucks. Well, if you insist. Yeah, I can see it having some personality traits depending on what time of the year you're born in.
Right, yeah. Summer babies. We get the job done.
But
just like immigrants.
anyway, happy birthday, Fiona. I think is the
Happy birthday, Fee. You're on the top of you're on top of the charts of my favorite birthday twins, beating out Will Wheaton and NASA and Kevin, your former brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Who I like a lot.
Yeah, Kevin's a good guy.
He is.
Then Cheeky writes, for the first time in about a decade, Corrie actually felt like it remembered how to be Corrie. Everyone tangled up in each other's business, emotional beats that landed, and just enough chaos to keep it fun. But oh boy, there were some moments that made me want to throw a slipper at the TV.
Yes.
We learned this week that Cheeky wears a slipper.
So do I.
I don't think I've worn a slipper. Anyway,
I wear-
no, I'm not going to pick at that scab.
I wear two of them. And unfortunately, I'm the only one in the house. But that's also because I'm the only one who empties the Roomba. So I know what I'm sipping on.
Dev telling his Auntie Rani to pack her bags for disrespecting his bride and her family by calling Gemma a stripper. Yes, that's the kind of energy Bernie deserves. Chaotic history and all. Wednesday started gorgeous, full of colour and celebration, and then Bernie's quick trip home turned into Brody's nicking stuff, a scuffle, and a hell scare. But the best moment, Dev's face when he thought he might lose her, flashing back to losing Sunita. That was the one scene that punched me right in the chest. Pure soap gold. Friday's where the week stumbled. For me, Aadi drops a triple whammy. Lauren was spiked. He still hung up on Amy. I know he staged a fake robbery that cost the shop $6,000. And Dev's big plan? Ship him off to India. What an absolute waste of a character who's been here since 2012 and who was built up as smart, loyal and reliable.
And also, I don't think that Dev can legally just ship an adult
An
man
adult man
to India
to
against his will.
to his Uncle Vic,
Yeah.
who we last saw smuggling drugs across international borders.
Great.
Still, I can't lie, this week was strong, messy, emotional, interconnected. It gave me the same feeling I used to get watching classic Corrie, when every scene felt like it belonged to a bigger picture. Keep giving me this energy, and I might just forgive the stupid stuff. Yeah, I agree with an awful lot of that there. Thank you very much as always. Thank you to Cheeky, to Fiona, to Lindsay, to Gary, and to Gary Lee for their feedback this week. It's always welcome. Send us
Yes.
your thoughts. No,
Are you okay?
yeah, I've forgotten to do something,
Oh, yeah.
and now I need to
Yeah.
there's an elephant in the room.
There's a big white bag
a
staring
big
at
white
with
bag.
a penguin on it staring at me.
We have physical mail,
Woo!
and this week's physical mail comes all the way from Australia.
Really? I thought with the penguin and the mailbox.
It was from Antarctica.
No, that it was from the United Kingdom. Oh, that's not a telephone box. That's a refrigerator.
Oh, and there we have our first clue.
Ooh. We've got a beer cozy.
Not just any old beer cozy.
It's a seal my fridge beer cozy. And to seal my fridge, an Australian extrusions pen. Is this a mouse pad?
It's not just any mouse pad.
It's a seal my fridge. Why is seal my fridge's mascot a penguin and not a seal? I feel like a trick was missed there. We're fitting seals. www.sealmyfridge.com.au. So unfortunately, they can't seal our fridge. It's just another beer. It's another beer cozy, and another pen. I stole this pen from Seal My Fridge. That's...
Now, this-
there are like 4 more other pens in here. There's no note. Was there a note?
There wasn't a note, but
There wasn't a note.
there was a threat of this from 2 weeks ago from the artist formerly known as Seal My Fridge. And they've been true to their word.
Name, Seal My Fridge. Company, Seal My Fridge. Oh, but the email is Carrie. So thank you, Carrie, from Seal My Fridge for the beer cozies and the pens
And
the mouse
and the
pad.
mouse mat. Now, people at work all have their own mouse mats.
Uh-huh.
My best friend Brandon, who sits next to me,
Uh-huh.
he has a mouse mat of his 2 children.
Uh-huh.
My mouse mat is of Mike Baldwin getting breathalyzed
Right.
from classic Coronation Street.
Yes.
But
You-
my new mouse mat at work
It's going to be Seal My
is going to be
Fridge.
Seal My Fridge. And I almost wish that I lived in Adelaide and had a leaky fridge, so I could call Seal My Fridge to remedy
Whose
that
mascot is a
situation.
penguin.
Well, fridges are cold.
Right.
So,
But seals also live in cold places.
not exclusively, though.
No. There are
And
penguins.
also Nordic penguins.
Nordic penguins. There are penguins that live
But
in
that type of
warm
penguin.
places.
I think that's looks like an emperor penguin, doesn't it?
It's an egg-shaped penguin. I'm not quite sure what those are. Thank you, Seal My Fridge. I wish you'd left a note, but I'm taking at least 2 of these pens with me to work.
I love the cozies as well. And I love that I stole this pen from Seal My Fridge.
Yes,
That's fantastic.
That's the best part.
Oh, how blessed we are. So now I can say feedback is always welcome. Send us your thoughts and I will probably read them out. Get us at thetalkofthestreet@gmail.com or our DMs are open at Corrie Podcast. Send your proper mail or your swag to the Talk of the Street, PO Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan, 48827. Please note that we reserve the right to edit feedback, but only in the interests of brevity. And I definitely reserve the right to use that mouse mat at my work.
And we will also accept British chocolate and Canadian ketchup chips.
And now we'll podcast for coffee.
Friend of the podcast.
Remember when that felt like it was too long? Just slightly too long?
Yeah.
It doesn't really feel
It doesn't
like that
feel that way
anymore.
anyway.
Thank you to our new friends of the podcast.
Friends? More than one?
Friends.
Woohoo!
Joe T,
Woo!
Corey Dales,
Woo! Love Corey. I love a little bit of Corey and a little bit of the Dale.
yeah, and Matthew McInerney.
Woo!
Once again, blown away by people signing up to be friends of the podcast and hopefully now enjoying some of our bonus content.
Yes.
We do a spoiler alert show which lands around about 7 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday UK time, and a monthly classic episode that we released the first one on August 1st, talking about episode 1 of Coronation Street. What you chuckling away at?
I'm still laughing at Seal My Fridge.
It's good stuff.
We should do commercials for them.
Do you know, I kind of feel that we are. This is the genius behind Seal My Fridge,
Sending us swag.
to build a business that runs purely on the patronage of Antipodean Coronation Street viewers who listen to podcasts. It's a very niche market. Thank you so much to our new friends of the podcast. We so appreciate it. The Talk of the Street is and will always be free on your podcast provider and on the YouTubes. But if you think a show is worth anything more than the time it takes to listen to it, if you want to show your appreciation, you can buy us next week's coffee by going to ko-fi.com, that's ko-fi.com/the Talk of the Street. And if one show isn't enough for you, you can also sign up to be a friend of the podcast through the same link, where for as little as $2 a month, you can get access to the Talk of the Street spoiler alert and the Talk of the Street classics. All that, plus a mention in the closing credits of each and every episode. And if Ko-Fi isn't your thing, we also have a Patreon site where you can show some love for the exact same benefits, for the exact same cost. Sign up to be a friend of the podcast there at patreon.com/the Talk of the Street. But remember, you can always support the podcast for free and get us in front of new listeners by liking, subscribing, rating, and reviewing wherever you get your podcasts. All right, shall we dive in, my dear?
Yes, please.
Our first storyline this week
Yes,
is
thank you.
Sucks to be a Webster.
Well,
On
all
Monday-
the Websters suck, so except for Debbie.
And Jack doesn't really suck.
I suppose not, although he has forgotten that he has a fake
He
leg.
hasn't forgotten. It's not like he's worn shorts and we've seen that the leg's grown back. It's not like that's happened.
No. But we have seen him do things that it would be difficult for someone with only one leg to
It's
do.
very ableist of you, Helen.
It is.
Kev was disappointed in the new F1 movie.
What is this? What is this? I am agreeing with Kev about something? Kev also hates Brad Pitt?
I don't think Kev said that.
Yes, he did. In my heart, he did.
Kev said that Brad Pitt's exhaust was the wrong size.
Yes, which basically is an affirmation that he hates the guy.
I loved the F1 movie.
You did not.
I loved it.
You didn't.
Brad Pitt is a superstar. Anyway, it seems that Abi and Kev have decided to try and make it work until Kev says that Carl isn't the bloke she thinks he is, and they're better rid of him. They go to the pub, and even though Carl is there, Kev goes off for a shite, which I don't think Kev would do that. If you go into the pub and your relationship is already kind of rocky, and you see the person that is sort of responsible for that already in the pub, would you then go to the little boys' room
Look,
and leave them?
the man has just gotten over cancer. If he needs to shit a little bit more often than usual, you let him.
I suppose.
That's not going to wait. You expect him to hold it until he gets home?
Just for 5 minutes. They live just down the street.
That's what Abby said.
And if I was
He's like-
Kev, I'd be going home to do a shit.
He would.
Definitely. The atmosphere is frosty between Abi and Carl, and so Carl immediately starts from Tracy again. Abi announces to the pub that Kev got a cancer all clear, and that's good enough to get a free pint. But then Abi says that she needs some fresh air, and then she just leaves him. Back home, Kev tricks Debbie into visiting and explains to her how terrified he is of losing Abi, how she looks at him different now. She always looked like she didn't deserve him, and now she looks like he didn't deserve her.
Right.
Imagine saying that out loud. Now my wife looks at me like I don't deserve her, when you're a person as shitty as Kevin Webster. That can't be the first time that this has happened.
No. And, I mean, gotta knock Debbie down a peg a little bit for the gaslighting of Abby that she's ends up doing in all of this.
Oh, sure. Debbie decides to forgive him and suggests that he impress her with a grand gesture. But it's going to take a hell of a gesture because Abi and Carl are currently getting their hole at the rape hotel.
Yep.
Abi turned
With
up.
like a big, fat white duvet.
It looked
all
so
over,
comfy.
all over Abby. She looked like the cover of a Herb Alpert album.
I thought she looked like a blonde sausage roll. And you know, that doesn't sound too bad. Her tattoos looked quite good against the white.
You think a sausage roll with hair sounds like a good idea?
Don't try and make me hate sausage rolls.
No, I just want you to hate sausage
And
rolls
I've-
with hair on them.
And I've eaten plenty of sausage rolls that have had hair in them.
Blah.
They're British standards.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that looked a very comfy
Yeah.
bed.
Well, it had to be to cover up all the nudity.
Right.
Or the implied nudity. We get to see an awful lot of chest this week from the menfolk. We see Carl, and then we see George's glorious, glorious hairy chest a little bit later.
And we see
And-
Chesney's knees. I know that gets you excited.
No, no. George's hair chest, yes. Chesney's knee, no. That's a fun thing to say. Chesney's knee. Chesney knee. Chesney. Chesney.
That's 10 seconds of your life that you're not getting back. Abi turned up at Carl's room to make sure that he wasn't banging Tracy. What would she have done if Tracy had been in the room?
Yeah, seriously, what would she have done? She'd be like, never mind. See you guys later. And then, you know, her cover would be fully blown because
Yep.
Tracy will know.
She says, look, this wasn't meant to happen. I wasn't meant to shag you again. I was meant to check that you weren't shagging Tracy. So let's just draw a line under it. But then she sees a message from Fiona on his phone, and for some reason this means that he has to admit to the dodgy MOTs at the garage. Abi is fucking furious.
Yes.
And reckons this was Carol's plan all along, and she storms out. When she gets home, Kev and Jack have news. Debbie is paying for them all to go on holiday to Mallorca, and to celebrate, Kev has made paella. Love a bit of paella.
And he pronounces it correctly.
He does.
He does.
Which should never happen.
No.
For Kev, that's paella. Honestly, I don't see Kev going for something as exotic as that. Kev's fish and chips.
Paella is not that exotic.
For Kev,
It's rice with seafood.
it's got saffron in it. Might as well be from another planet.
Seriously. And also, saffron is very, very expensive. He's buying a little bit of saffron just for this meal for Abi. He must really be wanting to get her back.
Privately, Abi doesn't appreciate the blackmail and says there's no way she's going on holiday with him. Then she tells him about Carl and the MOTs, and is shocked to discover that Kev already knew, and that's why he sacked him. Abi is fucking furious again.
Yes, she is.
And she's running out of places to storm out of. This time she goes to Maxine's bench and gives a passing Debbie a piece of her mind. Debbie explains how terrified Kev is of losing her, and points out that she's his world, and she'll never find anyone who loves her more than, checks notes, Kevin Webster. Abi says, tough shit, she's not in love with him. Debbie asks what's important, and tells her that love changes. What would she be doing without Kev's support?
Living a very happy life without any verbal abuse being hurled at her, ever.
Abi goes home to tell Kev that a holiday will do them good. Kev promises no more lies. So Abi goes back to Carl's room to give him a piece of her mind, but he tells her that Kev threatened to expose the scam if he told Abi about Kev's cancer. He misses out the bit where he threatened to do the opposite. Abi is fucking exhausted from all the running about Manchester she's done today. She doesn't know who she wants anymore, but one thing's for sure, she might as well get her hole now that she's here.
Might as well. He's just sitting right there.
So Wednesday, Kev's heading off to the wedding that's happening in another storyline, but Abi apparently vomited in the shower on account of her being pregnant already. So she won't be going anywhere.
She's faking the vomiting.
Kev doesn't seem too bothered, which is weird considering how they've been coming off the back of some major arguments, and he isn't suspicious at all. But he should be, because she's all dolled up and back at the Rape Hotel for some more of Carl's bobby. Kev gets home from the wedding early, ahead of Abi, who comes in all dressed to the nines. And now Kev's a bit suspicious, so she says that she was planning on coming to the wedding after all, after getting some meds from the chemist. And later she meets up with Carl in the Gunnel, where he declares her love for her again while Kev is slipping into his joggers. And as he walks off, Carl calls Fiona to tell her that he's in. And that's as far as we get with that storyline this week.
Yes. Just leave him. Just leave him.
Just leave him.
Just leave both of them. Just leave both of them, Abi. You don't need either one of them.
No.
I'm sure you could find the ghost of Imran floating around somewhere.
The ghost of Imran is definitely a preferred option here.
Yes.
That beard. So, the issue with this is, for an affair storyline, they're mistaken in getting their hole in, and let's talk about where they're deciding to do this in a bit, but they're mistaken that getting the hole in the hotel room with the passion and the steam of an affair.
Yeah.
And I'm just not getting that from this. It's a dull affair storyline.
Right, yeah. Just the sex is slightly better than what she's getting from Kev, so that feels like that's the only thing, that's the only allure here.
Because as Kev said himself, he's approaching 60.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what age Abby's meant to be in the show.
But she's younger.
40s.
Yeah.
From that perspective, I'm not saying that age is the be-all and end-all, obviously, but it's conceivable that she would be bored in that relationship considering who Kev is. It's conceivable she'd be looking elsewhere. It's more inconceivable that she ends up with Kev's brother. And it's even more inconceivable that she ends up boffing Kev's brother in Kev's sister's hotel.
Right, yeah. Just imagine if Debbie caught her at some point, and then Abi would be forced to use Debbie's dementia against her. saying, "Oh no, I wasn't there. You must have just imagined it."
But I reckon that Kev and Abi probably are in the hotel more than we see, or they should be. Because you'd go and drinking at the hotel if your sister owned it. I think
I don't know.
I think all the staff probably know who Kev and Abi is. Raphael knows who Abi
Raphael
is.
knows who they are, and Ryan.
So Ryan as well, a great one.
But you know what?
Going to the rape hotel is an immense risk.
But you know what? If she comes in like the back end or something, or one of the ends of the hallway doors, she's not walking through the lobby. She's not walking through the restaurant. And they pick her up on camera in the hallway if they were really looking for her. But there's ways to get into a hotel and not be seen by the employees.
Yeah, in the laundry cart.
No, that's how you escape from prison.
Oh, sorry. I get confused. There's something about a file and a cake as well.
And orphanages.
I don't know. It just feels like we're putting so much into this now that we've got the health thing out the way and everyone knows about Debbie's dementia. Everyone knows that Kev's going to be all right. The only part of this now that's left is the affair, and it was always the least interesting part of it. And now it still is.
And yeah, now that it's more or less the only part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh well. I do hope they get found out soon.
Yeah.
And this is brought to a head. A big pussy head.
Ew, gross.
And then dealt with some Savlon. Alright, we'll move on.
I don't know what that is.
To our next storyline, The Girls.
Woohoo!
On Monday, Brody, as part of his new attitude, is chatting happily with Kit, and the two of them end up talking about Brody's new job at the garage, and then they end up going to the county game together when Kit asks.
Because he's got an extra ticket.
And they call each other mate far more often than they should.
Correct.
Back at number 4, Joni has thrown a remote at Shanice, so Sally sends her to her room without dinner. But when Sally checks Shanice for injuries, she's horrified to find bruises all up her arm. Shanice insists it wasn't Joni. Sally doesn't know whether or not to believe it, and Tim thinks that this might be a turning point in their lives if they can handle this well. Meanwhile, Kit and Brody have had fun at the football and they go for a curry together. Kit is pleased that Brody is getting to know Bernie. When he gets home, Sally explains what happened today and she wants to go to the social services about Shanice's bruises. Brody thinks this is a terrible idea, that the kids will get split up, and he begs her not to tell anybody. Tim and Sally agree to sleep on it while Brody looks shifty. So who do you reckon's given delightful wee Shanice those bruises? Is it Joni?
I would like to think that these are old bruises that just haven't gone away yet, and it was one of her parents. That's what I would like to think.
Oh, that's a good option.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Because I don't want it to be Jody or Brody.
No.
Jody and Brody.
Joni.
No, that's right. Joni and Brody and little Shanice. You can tell which one of those children is the favorite.
That's 3 of the most eclectic names. We talked about the J names last week.
Yeah.
This is like the opposite of that.
Well,
there's like 3 names that...
One of which starts with a J.
But it's like if your brothers were Michael and Bob and you were called Stone.
Well, it's like my dad and his uncles. You've got Billy and Jimmy. And yes, on their birth certificates it says Billy and Jimmy. It does not say William or James. and then you have Tom Marcus.
Oh, Tommy.
Don't ever call him that.
I'm unlikely to call him anything.
The only thing that makes him more angry than being called Tommy is being called Thomas. Because his name is Tom. It's Tom on his birth certificate. Which is funny because he goes by Mark and not Marcus.
But all those names are, I think, reasonably close to each other.
Yeah, I suppose. I think the Marcus kind of sticks out. But I just find it delightful that the southern half of my family have children named Jimmy and Billy. May they both rest.
It's a sad state of affairs when we hope that it's the parents' fault because the parents are now out of the picture.
Right.
But Sally's right. you go to the social services about this. Because,
Right, yeah, because if they don't, and then it's discovered that Shanice has bruises, then they're going to accuse Sally and Tim of bruising her up.
Right.
You got to cover your own ass.
Tim's been reading up on this, obviously, because his insight into this being that if they handle this correctly for the kids, this could change their lives.
Yes.
And that's so true.
Absolutely.
You know, just painting something that is a new normal. You know, the violence is not the answer thing, if that is where it's coming from. But Joni didn't seem to back away from the accusations that she'd thrown something and then pulled on Shanice's arm. So maybe it is just the rough and tumble of kids. I don't know.
Kind of hilarious because, like, the throwing of the remote was the mildest thing ever. She just kind of just tossed it.
It was almost as mild as the reason she had for doing it.
Right, yes.
Shanice wanted to watch a lame TV program.
Did she say lame or did she say cringe?
Oh, maybe.
I feel like she said cringe.
That makes it worse.
Her cringe kitty shows.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah.
That's a terrible reason.
Yeah, she wants to watch her cringe kitty shows.
Yeah, of course. She's like 5. Of course she does.
What do you think Shanice watches?
I think she watches Deal or No Deal. I think she watches Golden Balls. Is that still a thing? I don't think that's a thing anymore.
I don't even think Deal or No Deal is still a thing.
I think Deal or No Deal's still a thing.
There's Deal or No Deal Island, but I don't think like the actual show exists anymore.
Is that a mashup of Love Island and Deal or No Deal?
You hope so, don't you?
What the fuck is in this box?
John Doe has the upper hand.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right, Morgan Freeman.
Oh my God. See, I was thinking more along the lines of like Peppa Pig or that dog rescue show or Tiny Chef.
No, Shanice is a countdown girl. Word puzzles and sums. Absolutely. On Friday, Sarah and Kit meet up. This is brilliant. I love this.
Okay.
Sarah and Kit meet up in Nina's Rolls. He's still hobbling about in his crutches after getting stabbed in the leg 3 weeks ago.
No,
and I'm pleased about this because normally that would have been long forgotten by now.
No, he's on crutches from on Wednesday and Friday. He's not on crutches on Monday because the actor that plays Kit actually had an accident and is really on crutches right now.
Is that why they had him getting stabbed in the leg?
No.
Or have they actually forgotten about the stabbed in the leg?
I think they have forgotten the stuff.
Wait a minute, he wasn't stabbed in the leg.
He wasn't, no.
He was stabbed in the belly.
Right, yeah. And he didn't have any crutches on Monday. It started on Wednesday. That almost made it into Corrie News, but I wanted to talk about Millie instead.
That's hilarious.
Yes.
So anyway, he's found out from Bernie about Brody trying to rob Dev's house yesterday.
In another storyline.
Everyone is just so happy to overlook this. Sarah suggests talking to him, but Kit says, well, he's not the talkative type and he wouldn't know what to say. So Sarah offers to go with. And you think, brilliant. Sarah's going to get involved in this.
Right. Perfect.
She'll talk some sense into them.
Right, yes.
So,
as long as she's wearing one article of clothing made of leather, she's all right.
So they go to Speed Dial where Sarah talks for half an hour uninterrupted about ice hockey.
Yeah, what was that all about?
Brody, it seems, is not a fan of ice hockey and is not a fan of Sarah showing up unannounced to talk about it. Kit says that he knows that he'd do anything for his sisters, and this winds Brody up because they don't know anything about his sisters or the court order, and he doesn't know who this bint is and why she's fucking Kit. Sarah keeps talking about we and us and says that Kit is his dad, and that about does it for Brody, who storms out. Well done, Sarah.
It was hilarious.
Later, Brody apologises for being out of order and then has a private word with Kit. Kit says that he wants to be part of Brody's life, but only if Brody wants that. And that's as far as we get with that this week. Sarah's interference in this.
It's hilarious.
Oh, it was just so funny because
and
everything
terrible.
she was saying was so bad.
And so boring and not interesting to a, 17-year-old kid.
When she kept on going on about we.
Yeah, it's
and
like...
this is all because Kit called them a team, I think. That's what's made her think this.
Right, but still, Sarah should know how to read a room by now.
Oh, seriously.
And yet she can't. She's a Platt who can't read the room. She's the only Platt who can't read a room.
Even when Brody just says, I've no fucking idea who you are.
Right.
And you have no idea who I am. So go and just shut your fucking mouth.
Yeah.
And she just kept on talking.
Yeah. About ice hockey.
I loved it. It's just one of those moments in the show, like when someone suddenly has all the awareness in the world and realizes it doesn't make sense for me to have Billy's number in my phone. It's like those moments don't happen very often, but when they do, I love it.
Yeah, see, it kind of feels like everybody should have Billy's number on their phone because he's a vicar. You always want a person of God on speed dial.
Do you?
Just in case you need to
Just in case
perform an exorcism or baptize somebody or get married or die.
That's what the yellow pages are for. My point that you're skillfully avoiding is that it's that realistic reaction that you don't normally see, because in other episodes Sarah would make this big impassioned speech about, I don't know, something other than ice hockey.
Right.
And Brody would see, do you know what, she's talking a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Kit, why don't we go and watch a fucking ice hockey game then?
Sure.
So the fact that it went completely another direction, I thought was quite refreshing.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm confused how we're meant to feel about Brody now, or how this show wants us to feel about Brody, because what it's been doing in the last week and part of this week makes you think, oh, do you know what? He's not that bad. He's softened his tone. He's not sounding so horrible. He's not been a utter asshole. And then he tries to rob Devs in another storyline.
Right.
I'm like, oh no, I do hate you again. I do hate you after all.
You know, is rude to Sarah. I mean, she deserves it, but still, you shouldn't be rude to adults if you were a teenager. They are rude anyway, but they shouldn't be.
So it's like, how am I meant to feel about this? It felt like we were already halfway down the redemption arc for Brody, and then it's just completely ripped away again. And I prefer, honestly, not to like him. And I don't. But I really don't know what the show wants me to think.
It's kind of like Betsy, where, you know...
It's exactly like that.
She seems all right, and she seems like she's matured a bit, and then she goes off the deep end and does something ridiculous again.
Right. All right, then we'll move on to our next storyline. Swarla at 6.
Swain.
Swain's finally helping out, getting the packing done, as she and Carla move out of the flat. And Ryan's helping as well. Ryan complains about his flatmate and his collection of Victorian dolls. Ryan, you have no idea how bad this could get.
My dolls aren't Victorian.
It's the hands that I bother about. But it's all he can afford, otherwise he would move out. Says Carla.
Says Swain.
And Swain notices this, and she decides to take the lead. And as a surprise for Carla, she asks Ryan to move in with them at number 6. And Carla is so chuffed, she practically shags Swain right there and then. No one mentions where Swain was staying beforehand, or her cats, or the flood that they had.
They still haven't picked up their cats. Those cats have been put down by the ASPCA.
The American Society for Protection of Animals has
they-
got involved. That's how bad it is.
They flew all the way over to pick up Swain's cats. It's the RSPCA over there, right? The
Yes.
Royal. Yeah, because the Queen has to have her fingers in everything. Or the King now.
So she
but-
can make sure that if you've got swans, she can take them off you.
Right, and corgis.
I eat the swans, you. I eat them.
Nobody wants to eat swans. Their meat is gross.
It's what keeps the royal family alive.
Is swan meat?
Swain is looking forward now to getting her therapy finished and getting on with her gosh darn life.
Yes, getting back in the saddle with detectiving.
And that's as far as we get with that this week.
Yeah, no sign of Betsy.
This was terribly rushed.
Betsy doesn't help move anything. Betsy's gone. And you know what? This made me, more now than ever, made me miss Bobby. Because they finally have a place that's street level. So he's not going to have a hard time with the stairs.
Right. Carla on the ground floor.
Yeah. Yeah. Bring Bobby back. I miss Bobby.
I miss Bobby as well. I think Bobby was an underused character, and I think he was really funny.
Yes. After, the first 2 episodes, he was great.
Yeah, they calmed him down a little bit. They took his trumpet away, and
Yes.
it was fine.
I guess now that
They
he's...
did him wrong,
Yeah.
and I don't think ours is a very popular opinion, but it's more popular than we'd think.
Yeah.
Because when I posted about it, quite a few people agreed.
Yeah, bring back Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby being involved in this. I like
Ryan.
Ryan, and I like Ryan being invited to stay because that's the sort of thing that Carla would do. And it's nice that Swain took the lead on that and didn't wait for Carla to try and manufacture it.
And it's also weird that Ryan had moved out in the first place. I don't remember him moving out.
I don't remember him moving. Where is he
No.
living? Who is this person that he's living with a strange Victorian doll fetish?
Right. It's probably the same people that Simon was living with mysteriously for a while who we never saw.
Right.
Remember when Simon was mysteriously living with other people?
I do. I
that
don't
we never
remember
saw?
Victorian dolls being mentioned though, but
No.
it wouldn't surprise me.
No.
I think, though, this deserved a bit more than the, 3 scenes that it got?
Yeah.
I like now that we're getting into a phase where we've had a number of weeks where Swain and Carla are kind of just happy and supportive of each other. And there were some lovely little scenes with the two of them out of what we were given this week. But then that was it. The way that we're dishing out scenes to Carl and Abi going backwards and forwards to hotel rooms, it's like, we kind of get where this is going.
Yeah, it's kind of boring to have like 3 sex scenes in a week. And not even sex scenes, just beginning and ending.
So yeah, I think something could be thrown Swarla's way.
We never see them in bed.
No. And I feel that the closest was probably right at the start with the house coats.
And I'm hoping, now that they've moved into this new house, whose bedrooms we have seen, that maybe we'll get to see their bedroom. Because I don't think they built Carla a bedroom.
No, I don't think so.
No.
All right, we'll move on. Our next storyline is Theo No Sleeves. So this is another one that seems to get all the airplay. On Monday, George and Todd have just done an Elvis-themed wedding, which allows George to do a very bad Elvis impression. Todd announces that Dee Dee's flat's available, given that she's moving back in with Ed. Todd and Theo are thrilled, thinking that this is somewhere that they could move into after passing up or losing their chance to get that place that had the swimming pool last week. Maybe the corner shop flat is the same? Anyway. George is less thrilled by this. He's upset because he'll be left alone with Mary. Todd says they'll visit frequently, so turn that frown upside down, mister. And they go off to Dev's stag do in another storyline to
And
celebrate.
also, George, you have a house. Go live in your house. Go live in your house.
At the stag do, there's a pole dancer tutorial, and Theo looks put out when Todd has a go.
Which we don't get to see.
And he fakes a headache. It's about the only one that we don't see.
No, exactly.
And I'm not complaining about that.
No. We get to see Steve upside down on that pole.
For ages.
It was fabulous.
I wouldn't have thought he had it in him. I always imagine his hands to be quite sweaty.
How many crew members do you think were required to get him on that pole upside down?
There's some Kill Bill, Quentin Tarantino wire work going on there. So Theo fakes a headache and goes home. Back home, the headache was a ruse. It was more of a cock ache that Theo had. So he and Todd go off to get their hole. On Wednesday, Todd has the morning off and Theo wants to celebrate by getting his hole.
Again. And again. Another couple that we never actually see in bed.
He's perturbed when Summer bursts into the house to study there as her place is stinking of paint. Todd tries to get rid of her and suggests that she goes to the wedding, but Summer doesn't want to run into Nina. Theo has no patience for this shite. They go to Nina's rolls, and Todd puts the kibosh on Theo's plans as he needs to make sure Summer is okay. Some fucking date this is, says Theo, as Todd rushes off, so Theo goes to the pub instead.
Right, because when it comes to Theo's kids, he's allowed to drop Todd at the first sign of a fake pregnancy. But when it comes to Todd's kid, Theo doesn't think that she needs any sort of support from one of her 3 dads.
Theo clearly doesn't think that Summer is Todd's kid. Doesn't look at it the same way. Doesn't think
Right, yeah,
that's
because
your
she's
actual
not
kid.
because she's not biologically her kid.
But
his
not
kid.
only does Theo think differently about it, and not only does Theo think that it's okay for him to drop Todd at the first sign of anything to do with Millie, Theo thinks it's okay to tell Todd to sleep in a different room in his own house.
Right, yeah. Let's not forget
When
that.
these sort of things crop up. So on Friday, Todd and Theo are arguing about getting a dog. It's supposed to be cute. They're about to get their hole again when George comes in with the air fryer questions. Todd saw Brian in the cabin and he's down in the dumps because it would have been Julie's birthday today and Julie's dead now.
Yes.
Theo has a meeting with some social worker about getting to see his fucking kids coming up. But when he's out with Gary pricing up a job, he gets a call from the social worker saying that who has shown up early, so they go to rush home. And there's a pathetic incident in another storyline where a drunken Aadi falls into a wall at the precinct after stopping Theo getting into his van, and Dev, who appeared in the scene, wants Theo done for assault. So eventually, when he gets back to the street, he's lifted by PC Jess outside his house. And this is seen by Billy, who looks like he might have his interference shoes on today.
Yeah, Billy just kind of like sticks his head out of somewhere. Where is he?
It was the weirdest shot.
Yeah, it's
'Cause he's just
Billy's
standing
head
there.
going, "Doop."
Staring off in one direction, and then slowly turns round. Billy, what the fuck are you doing? Could you look any creepier right now? Jeez. So he goes to Todd's and announces loudly to the house that Theo has been lifted by the police, and this is overheard by the social worker, who has concerns that Theo has been involved in another violent incident. Another, says Billy and Todd together. Later, they do some boggling, and it seems Theo has previous for criminal damage in an incident involving his wife and another guy at a restaurant. Theo comes in and catches Todd and Billy looking sheepish at a laptop.
Right, yes.
Billy coughs and quickly leaves them to it because this is yet another incident where Billy's interfering has gone awry.
Yes, and they try to say, oh no, we were just looking at dogs on the RSPCA website. And Theo's like, oh, let me see. It's like, why would you say that? Why would you say anything about the dogs? Because you know Theo's going to want to see the dogs.
Right.
Who wouldn't want to see the dogs?
Right.
Everyone wants to see the dogs.
Just say I was looking at
Porn.
I was looking at Vomit on Pavements, a collection.
Or the Dr. Pimple Popper.
Oh, that one where they're taking wax out their ears. Oh, no, thank you. Theo explains what happened with some thug who insulted Danielle at a restaurant and he threw a glass. He didn't say anything because he was ashamed. He's not that person anymore now that he has Todd. Gulp, says Todd. But then to prove that he's not that person anymore, he and Todd go to the Rovers where he threatens to boot fuck out of Dev for making him miss his social worker appointment. It looks like Dev's willing to give him a square go.
Yeah. Who do you think would win?
Oh, Theo.
No.
Yeah.
No. Dev would win.
Oh, sorry.
Because he's always got a golf club in his back pocket.
That's true. That explains that large shaft of metal that he has sticking out of his jeans.
Is that a large shaft of metal, or are you just happy to see me?
Later, Billy comes in and Todd explains everything that happened at the restaurant, and Billy's kind of sheepish about being in a enclosed space with Theo now. But Todd goes off for a shite, which allows Theo to joke with Billy about all that other skeletons in his past thing, and then does a very sinister 2-second smile fade.
While doing a Kubrick stare.
And that is as far as we get with that this week. The rumour mill.
Uh-huh.
This is the same rumour mill that thinks that Becky Swain
He's still alive.
is still alive and has been in hiding for however many years.
Right.
That rumour mill thinks that Theo is going to kill Billy. And I have to say, he's got cause.
Isn't that Uma Thurman's job?
Yes. The 10th film by Quentin Tarantino, Kill Billy. Or Shove Mike. Ding, ding, ding. Shove Mike. I'd watch that.
Yeah, I'd watch that too. You imagine Uma Thurman with her katana just like lopping Billy's head off.
No, just pushing them over.
A cliff. No, that doesn't work. He survives cliffs.
He does. He survives hundreds of feet dropping into a quarry. Now, we know that Billy's gone out of it.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, that's what's
Right.
sort of fueling this rumour.
Is Theo
But-
going to murder Billy?
But the way that Theo was looking at him,
With the
and the way
cubic
that Theo
stare,
was
yeah.
looking at Dev as well,
Right, yeah.
the red mist had absolutely descended.
Oh, absolutely.
I think, we've been comparing this with the Tim's dad and Yasmin storyline from a few
Right.
years ago. And I remember when that storyline was starting, it was our good friend of the podcast, John Giovinacci, who'd written in and said, I think this is a coercive control story, when it wasn't obvious that that's what it was, because they had done it over such a long period of time, and it just
Right.
built up
Subtle
and built up
and
and built
building
up.
up, yeah.
And this is far more...
This is not subtle.
No, this is far more overt
Yeah.
in how it's telling the story, because these looks are exactly what give that game away.
Right. And it sucks because initially we were supposed to feel for Theo, this poor man who's been in conversion therapy,
Yep.
has been messed up by his parents, and is having a hard time accepting that he's gay, and now he's evil. It makes you wonder how his and Danielle's marriage was going, because it doesn't... The way she's been acting does not seem that she is afraid of this man. So it kind
Danielle,
of feels like
no.
no. So is this just something that he does when the gay comes out? Is this only something that happens when he's sleeping with another man?
You think that he has to increase his masculinity in this situation?
Yeah, and that feels icky, doesn't it?
Does a little.
Yeah.
And the whole thing where this guy who has gone through this conversion therapy hell being the villain, there was something similar last week when Swain's therapist was immediately on the phone saying, I've had a breakthrough with Swain, and said it so
Sinister.
sinisterly that what the guy that Swain opens up to, he's a villain as well.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Now that, I think you thought was less obvious, but here we've got, we absolutely know that Theo is maybe capable of
Yeah.
some pretty nasty stuff.
Yeah, that stare isn't there for no reason.
No, absolutely not. And he was willing to have a fight with Mick when push came to shove.
Mike.
And we were happy to accept that. It was like he was somebody who was
Oh,
standing
yeah,
up
he's a hero.
for
For-
the small
Yeah,
guy.
for Sean.
But this is just...
No, this isn't great.
dreadful.
This is great.
And Todd...
Now all those wife beaters make sense.
That's a joke in poor taste, I would say. But
Yes, but also accurate.
But yeah, we'll keep that one in.
Yeah.
But when he says to Todd, I still have you, right? Since
Uh-huh.
and Todd doesn't answer, and Todd looks very...
Yeah.
So Todd's already feeling, is this relationship exactly what I think it is or what I want it to be? He's already having doubts here.
Yeah.
And those doubts, if anything, are going to make Theo worse. And every time Theo turns round, Todd's talking to Billy.
Right.
Billy's getting involved.
Right.
Billy's doing something stupid.
Billy has a connection to Summer. Mm-hmm. He constantly refers to Billy as Todd's ex, which
All
is
the time.
ridiculous.
So I don't think that's a theory that is entirely out there. I can see that happening.
No, this isn't like the theory. Remember the theory when people thought that Ryan was going to have a relationship with his fake brother?
No, yeah.
Whose name I can't remember now.
You were banking on that, weren't you?
I would like to see it.
Just know what it looks like.
Right, yeah. Allie, that's right. Which I don't think of as being a boy's name.
It never looked like an alley to me.
No.
And I've known a few Allies.
Ally McBeal.
No male Allies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Ali's quite a popular Scottish shortening of Alistair.
Oh, see here, it's a shortening of Allison. There aren't very many Alistairs here in the
there's not a
United
lot.
States. No.
Thin on the ground, the old Alistairs.
Yeah, it's not a very common name.
I mean, if you're called Alistair and you want to go into the circus, come to the US because there's not many of
Right. Or, form a cult.
you. Or just join the circus. We'll move on. The next storyline is McDonald versus McDonald. It's like Kramer versus Kramer, you see.
Yes, and we're not talking Ronald versus Grimace or Old McDonald. Ronald and Old.
Who would
Fight!
win in a fight between Ronald and Old?
Well, Old has a pitchfork, so.
Ronald's a killer clown.
And Ronald has clogged arteries from all of those French fries and Big Macs.
Beautifully done. On Friday, Ken's back, and is still giving Cassie a hard time about those times that Cassie was trying to kill him.
Right, yeah, which was hilarious. She's like, would you like a cuppa? And he's like, no. Oh, why not? Because the last time you made me a cuppa, you almost killed me. But thank you for saying Ford for the crossword puzzle.
Right.
Which I should have known from the beginning because I'm a busybody know-it-all.
She and Steve are deplorable until Amy comes down to announce that Tracy's in a full mood because someone's used all her toothpaste. Tracy is clearly having issues with Steve and Cassie being together and living under the same roof. Can't say I blame her. Amy tells her to rise above it, so she organises a tea for everyone later. What could possibly go wrong? So over tea, Tracy decides that she wants an amicable divorce now, where she and Steve both get to keep their own businesses and get on with this without solicitors, which immediately makes Cassie suspicious.
And Amy.
Tracy and Steve joke about how they're both squirreled away their fortunes, and Steve thinks that they should show a divorce party with all the money that they're saving. When he leaves, Amy knows that Tracy's up to something, and Tracy pleads innocence.
She says, moi? Her Miss Piggy comes out.
Yeah, and that's as far as we get with that.
Yes.
Is it as simple that Tracy has worked out that her florist is worth far more than streetcars?
I mean, obviously it does. Have you seen that chair at Streetcars? They're not making enough money to replace that chair.
But Tracy has a florist on the same street as an undertaker's. So
Right. Yeah, right next door, essentially. So, yeah. Location, location, location.
Absolutely. Is it as simple as that? Or is there something a little bit more Machiavellian that's going on here?
I mean, with Tracy, you never know.
I keep on forgetting that Tracy's still living there because Ken's thrown her out so many times. But I had to remember that Cassie doesn't live there.
Correct.
Cassie lives with Tyrone.
Yes. Thanks to his mum.
So that's...
Or his grandmum.
Yeah. Good to see Amy
Yes.
again this week. Good to see Amy.
In more than one storyline.
And Amy just knows Tracy so well. And of all the things that I'm glad that the show remembers, I'm glad that it remembers that because Amy
Yes.
just doesn't fall for Tracy's fish.
No.
One little bit.
Not one little bit.
Brilliant.
It's great.
The next storyline, our penultimate storyline, is Jenny's leaky ring. On
But
Friday,
not like that.
in Nina's roles, George and Glenda chat about Julie still being dead. Apparently, George hasn't heard from Eileen since she left, and that was months ago. Remember, everyone was saying, oh, we'll keep in touch. You'll come over to visit. Nobody will ever do that.
Yeah, but it is weird that Eileen hasn't, been in contact, even just like an email or something, considering that that's her house. And all the bills are in her name. So you'd think that she would at least be in contact. Maybe she's in contact with Todd and Todd just doesn't tell George.
Right. Although if Todd's going to leave that house,
Yeah.
in
Then-
possession is 9/10 of the law.
Right, yeah. Squatters' rights.
George is going to be a squatter when he has a
A
house.
big, massive house?
Anyway, they're having a drink with Brian in the pub later when Jenny bursts in, announcing that there's a leak at the cabin.
Dum, dum, dum.
And I was like, are we going to get to see the cabin? So George grabs his toolbox and rushes off. And we do see the cabin.
Woo!
We see the cabin, and we see Jenny in the cabin, eating the stock.
And, yes. And then we see George in the cabin with his glorious chest hair.
Shut up. He fixes a pipe and they flirt a bit as Jenny reckons that he's a bit of a Darcy coming out there.
Right, yes.
George has no clue what she's talking about. George would absolutely know what she's talking
Yeah.
about. You're telling me that George hasn't seen Pride and Prejudice?
You're telling me George, brother of Glinda, has no idea who Jane Austen is?
Seriously.
Shut up.
Of all the things that are incredulous, this has to be one of the top ones this week.
Seriously.
That George hasn't heard of or seen Pride and Prejudice.
Right. Any of the Pride and Prejudices. You'd think he'd at least have seen Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
It should be required watching for an Undertaker.
You would think.
You need to know how you...
To deal with zombies.
With the unmentionables.
Right, yeah.
That's right. So, he fixes the pipe and they flirt a bit over the leaky O-ring. Back at the Rovers, Glenda has set George up on a dating site, and George is against the idea, and so is Jenny, who clearly has her eyes on him now that she's seen him on his knees with a plunger.
And chest hair.
And that's as far as we get with that this week.
Yes. But it's funny, because, like, George is like, no. And then Glenda's like, you've gotten 4 matches already. And he's like, well, it would be disrespectful not to take a look.
Jenny was fabulous.
She was.
In these scenes.
Yeah. I miss
It's
her
a
already.
reminder of... I don't know why they always do this, when they announce that someone's leaving and then they have them in some scenes in the next week or two.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever they're in those scenes, they're just utterly fabulous.
Yes.
But when Jenny was eating that, looked like a...
Twizzler.
Right, looked like a Twizzle or a strawberry lace, I think I would call it.
Right.
And she might as well be playing with her hair as she's eating this,
Right,
this
yeah.
thing. And the way that she flirts and the way that she looks at him and has
Right.
a kind of coy little smile on her face.
Yes.
It's just superb. It's
Yes.
textbook show don't tell.
Love it.
And I thought it was one of my favourite scenes this week.
Me too.
And George and Jenny,
I don't hate it.
I wouldn't say no.
No. Don't hate it at all. Like the idea.
Jenny doesn't have a great track record with men who don't then die.
That's true. So it makes sense that she would be dating an Undertaker.
Is that like the ultimate version of that? Kind of feels like it.
It's the final boss.
All right, our final storyline and the major storyline of the week.
Right, finally.
The wedding of the century. On Monday, Aadi and Asha are brainstorming embarrassing stories about Dev for the best man speech. Bernie has got the most honking suits imaginable on the cheap.
Teal
is all the rage. Dev is unsure with the itchy suits, but Bernie talks Aadi into saying that he loves it, as they were so incredibly cheap. It's drinking games at the Rovers for Dev, Aadi, and all the other male members of the cast who were in that day,
Right,
and
with-
assorted extras.
with toy soldiers.
Which is what they did for Chesney, and they say that. And
Yeah.
they did all green up.
Yeah.
They weren't doing that again,
No.
says Steve.
No. They're not they can't afford to pay the makeup lady
Steve,
for overtime and painting all of these men green.
or to buy all the green that they would need.
Yes.
Steve has booked a pole dancer. Hey!
But not like that.
And she's called Helen. Meanwhile, Bernie is in the bistro with Nina's Rolls staff, Auntie Rani, Mary, and Asha, and Gemma's wig, who's dressed as a filthy nurse. Auntie Rani is not impressed, and she thinks that Nina's dressed up too. She also thinks Mary is a lunatic. Glenda comes in and explains the carnage that's going on at the pub and the choice of entertainment. Furious, Bernie storms over and finds that it's Steve hanging upside down on the pole, doing himself a mischief.
Which is great.
That scene though was great. Bernie just powers into the pub. She doesn't even look in the corner.
No, yeah.
You mean to say that while
She's
I'm
hearing-
over there with the most boring hen night and your auntie, you're sitting here ogling. Oh. Is that?
And everybody's like, woo! Oh, yeah. And then you see Steve hanging upside down.
Well, you see Steve upside down, and Steve upside down doesn't look exactly like Steve the right way up.
That's true. There's something, his face does something weird when it's upside down.
'Cause
I blame
didn't know-
gravity.
I didn't know it was Steve initially.
I knew it was Steve because of the shirt, because it was the shirt he was wearing earlier. But that's about it.
So the crowd are loving Steve's obvious skills when it comes to pole dancing.
Yes.
Because he is halfway up that pole upside down.
And he's holding on.
And then he slides down and kind of crumples in a heap. But You know that was for effect. You know
Right.
that he could get out of that.
Well,
This leaves Shona in the brain injury from being shot in the stomach to tell Auntie Rani a few home truths, and then she fucks off to a fake dentist appointment. And already Nina's left and Gemma's left.
yep.
So the hen night,
And Asha's left.
the whole hen night has crashed the stag do, which happens more often than not in Coronation Street. Auntie Rani comes in to find Gemma's wig behaving like a prostitute on the pole.
And only, not really. I mean, the nurse's outfit was probably not the best choice.
And then she starts having a dig at Gemini as a name. It sounds like a porn star name. What porn are you watching, Auntie Rani?
It's like a Debbie's Roy and Robbie sandwich.
Now that's porn. I can get behind. Bernie's had about enough of her shite and called her a snotty bitch, which she is. Auntie Rani tells Dev that he can't possibly marry this piece of trash or he can forget the money. So Dev tells her to fuck off.
Right, yeah. And also, it's a wedding present. So if he calls off the wedding, you're not going to give him the money anyway because there's no reason to give him a present.
The purpose of this money has changed so much from how it was to start with. It was supposed to be a wedding gift.
Right,
And then she turns up and she wants to see how it's been spent
right.
when she hasn't given the money
Yeah,
yet.
anyway. Right,
It almost became like an investment for her.
right.
So it was a gift, and then it was just I'm paying for the wedding, and then it became something else. So
Yeah, it was weird. And I don't feel like Auntie Rani was used to the best effect.
oh God, no.
We had such high hopes for Auntie Rani.
The way that they get rid of her, because she leaves on Monday night,
Yeah,
and by the next day in the morning, she's already back in Mumbai.
which doesn't make any sense.
Having her there after the wedding as a kind of fly in the ointment for the newlyweds would have been great.
It would have been perfect.
Right. Just annoying Bernie,
Right. Questioning the way she butters her toast.
Dev having too strong a family connection with her to say
Right.
anything to her
Yeah.
and thus upsetting his wife. It would have been great.
It would have. It was a waste. It was a waste of a character,
Yeah.
which is sad.
Aadi and Bernie look at each other. Well, that's us fucked then. Back home, Bernie needs to ask Dev if he's sure he wants to marry her, and he tells her that he loves her exactly as she is and can't wait to make her Mrs. Winter Allahan.
Which is so much better than Winter Brown.
Yeah, it sounds less like a Dulux paint. Aadi, though, doesn't know what he's going to do or how they're going to pay for this wedding. Bernie thinks that they'll find a way. On Wednesday then, it's the wedding day, and Dev is showered and shat and ready to go, and it's moved to find that Ash and Aadi have made him a lovely breakfast.
And I love his turban.
Yeah.
His towel turban. It's fantastic. It's fabulous. And it's so Dev.
Auntie Rani is already heading back to Mumbai. Lufthansa via Frankfurt, I expect. So that's that fucked. Dev gives Aadi his grandfather's watch as a thank you for everything that he's done. Aadi doesn't think he deserves this. Over at the quad house, Bernie is trying on some perfume from Mumbai while Gemma's wig puts too much rouge on her. The quads have the shits, so they and Chesney won't be going to the wedding, and no one cares.
Yeah, it's not the shit that they're holding buckets for.
At Nina's rolls, Roy has put on his one suit, and Debbie is looking forward to being the luncheon meat between him and Ronnie. Roy doesn't get it. At the bistro, Toya is blethering shite about the Goa beach chic that she's gone for with the decor, and it's all done free of charge as they're on a budget. Dev is confused by this, but Aadi covers. Aadi actually scrubs up pretty well in teal, as does Dev.
Yes. Yes.
So they look fine.
Actually, they look gorgeous.
Mary has also got a deal on the flowers. This will become important.
Later.
Bernie, Gemma's wig and Asha are all looking lush as they walk to the bistro. Chesney's in the background in his shorts. He was never going anywhere anyway.
Right, yeah, somebody has to stay with the quads and watch them puke into buckets.
Yes. But Bernie has forgotten her Paul necklace, so she heads back to pick it up. Back at the house, though, she finds a balaclavaed goon going through her drawers.
But not like that.
And of course, it's fucking Brody. He explains that he needed money so he and the girls could disappear to Spain, now that Joni has been caught beating fuck out with Shanice. So the way that he's talking about it, it's like a fait accompli that this was Joni that was doing this?
I
Or he
guess.
wasn't sure, or was it that he wasn't sure? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Who knows why that kid does things?
He scarpers when Gemma's wig comes in, so she and Bernie leave again. Back at the bistro, Bernie's causing a delay, so Debbie keeps the mob entertained by singing a medley of hits from Grease, finishing with Hopelessly Devoted, and doing the ending of it and making it last for 2 whole minutes.
Yes. She was fantastic.
She was.
I
She
loved
was.
every second of it.
And she's kind of doing the actions as well, and she's lying out on the couch, and she's got a good voice in her.
Yes. Olivia Newton-John is not laying on a couch while she's singing the song, though. She's at the back of the drive-in.
No, but Debbie is not standing still, is my point.
No, that's true.
You can certainly agree with me on that, can't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So after the elongated improvised ending, Debbie is taken by the moment and proposes to Ronnie. Ronnie agrees just as Bernie comes in and is pissed off at Debbie shitting on her chips. Kit checks on Bernie and accidentally calls her mum just as Brody in a polo shirt and no balaclava shows up. Bernie wants to forget everything that she saw from earlier. They'll talk about it later. So Bernie walks down the aisle in the bistro to Stay by Sash. At home, the quads are watching the live stream and they puke into the buckets. But when she gets to Dev...
Which was hilarious.
yeah,
'Cause it's
one of
like
them just...
the kid right next to Chesney just goes... "Bleh."
So when she gets to Dev, Bernie starts to have trouble breathing, and she eventually collapses with Gemma calling her an ambulance.
Bernie, you're an ambulance.
And then seems to get the idea that Billy's about to read Bernie the last rites.
Which was hilarious.
Did the Church of England have the last rites?
I don't know.
I thought it was a Catholic thing.
I thought so too, but you know, the Church of England is very close to the Catholic Church.
Is
It's
it?
just a different name. Because remember, Henry VIII founded the Church of England just so he could get divorced and also murder his wives.
Well, that's Protestantism then.
That's the no. Protestantism is something different than the Church of England. Although I guess Protestantism does fall under Protestantism, but it's basically
So is it?
it's basically just Catholicism with a different name, and I think fewer saints.
Yeah, the Church of England is a Protestant church. That's the one sentence summary to that.
Right. Yes, the pomp and circumstance of the Catholic Church is still very much alive in the Church of England.
A scuffle nearly breaks out when Aadi learns that Brody was at the house with Bernie earlier. Kit's had it up to his tits with hospitals, and he's about to leave Gemma's wig to it because he feels bad for being so horrible to Bernie in the past.
Which is nice of him to say, but holy shit, do not leave your sister alone in the hospital waiting for news about your mum.
Gemma says, "It is what it is. That's poetry," says Kit.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what?
He was being sarcastic.
Was he?
And then Gemma says, no, it's not poetry because poetry rhymes.
Oh, yeah, it
and
got
Kit
worse.
says, no, poetry doesn't always have to rhyme. And Gemma says, well, that's really lazy of those poets to not rhyme. How hard is it to rhyme?
Yeah. Gemma's going to say something else later that annoyed me even more. The diagnosis comes through that Bernie had an asthma attack, despite not having asthma, and it eventually turns out that she's allergic to Mary's cheap flowers. Back at the bistro,
Lilies.
the celebrants fucked off while everyone sees what's left of the buffet, and then they head to the pub to get hammered. The family are all called to the hospital, where Dev and Bernie are married in a busy accident and emergency by Gemma's wig, while Bernie still has her stent in. So they're not married then.
No, not really.
And when the doctor comes in and explains all this about the asthma, and then
Right.
says, does anyone have any questions?
Right.
And Gemma says, is your hair natural like that, or do you get a perm? And the nurse or the doctor says, I was talking about your mum.
Right.
And Gemma says, wonder what her problem is. I fucking hated that.
Yeah. That was maybe a Gemma joke too far. I also thought it was weird that they're like, oh, you had an asthma attack. And it's not until Bernie says, I've never had asthma in my life, that they say, okay, well, wait a second, I'll be back. and then comes back and says, oh, you had an allergic reaction to these flowers. These flowers that are fairly common flowers that you've probably seen and been around many times before in your life. And for us to know this, we would have had to have done like an extensive series of testing, of doing like a scratch test of different kinds of pollen and other things that were in the room at the time to figure out what you had an allergic reaction to. But we're just going to forego all that and just say it was the flowers.
I think most of what Helen suggests there was implied.
I don't understand why they have to have the NHS make a mistake first by saying it was asthma. Just say, we believe you had an allergic reaction to these flowers.
Right. Or we believe that you had an allergic reaction to something.
Right, yeah.
But they had to blame Mary.
Because, there's a difference between an allergic reaction and an asthma attack.
Back home, Dev saw Aadi and Brody nearly come to blows and wants to know what that was all about, so Aadi confesses. We don't see the confession, but Dev is high and furious and calls Aadi a fucking failure. Shame on Aadi, and shame on Dev for thinking Aadi man enough to run the business.
And also shame on Dev for leaving Aadi to die that one time.
Bernie overhears all this and explains the rest about the insurance scam and the attempts to get Auntie Rani's cash, and she only did it to save Brody and to keep a father proud of his son. She actually does a very good job of explaining it.
Yes, she does.
She tells him not to be too hard on Aadi. She apologises for ruining their wedding and promises no more lies and no more lilies. She wonders what to do next, and Dev has a plan. Meanwhile, Brody is acting the hard man at Aadi, warning him to keep his distance or else, but Aadi looks like he might have some revenge plans of his own as far as Brody's concerned.
He's just kind of like, sure, whatever, dude, and walks away. It's like, he's not put out by Brody at all. He's not scared of him. He's not intimidated by him. He's just like, eh.
No, it's very dismissive.
Yeah.
On Friday, we really are going along with the suggestion that Bernie and Dev's hospital exchange of vows meant that they're now married, as they celebrate with a lovely breakfast and calling each other husband and wife. This is going to get on my tits if they keep this up, just like it did with Daniel and Sinead that time that Kirk, dressed as a vampire, supposedly married them.
Under a tree. Mm-hmm. But you know what? They could have very easily said, Billy, your family, you come too. And then Billy could have married them legally in the hospital. Why didn't they just do that? Why? Billy was right there. And Billy is Bernie's son-in-law. So he's technically family. He should have gone with them.
They gave Billy one of the funniest lines that he's had in a while as he was sitting chatting with Steve, was it? And Billy said, I'm glad that I'm just a bystander at this. I know the stories I could tell you.
Right, yeah.
That was quite funny.
Yes.
So yeah, Bernie distracts them, if you know what I mean. They use the butter. Andy, meanwhile, is in the community garden and he's got rat-arsed already and is dinging calls from Lauren. Later, Lauren and Frankie show up at Dev's looking for Aadi, but Aadi's not there and he's not answering his phone, and Lauren's super pissed off by this. Aadi's pissed at the precinct and leaning against Gary's van. He becomes aggressive and falls into a wall at the precinct just as Dev arrives, demanding to know what happened and blaming Theo for assaulting Aadi. Aadi wanders off home, perhaps reflecting that this is not his finest hour. I love Aadi, and I love Adam Hussein. Aadi drunk isn't great.
It's not great.
He goes home and talks to Lauren about him not being in a fit state to answer her calls earlier, and she's worried about whatever he has in his mind. He wants a drink, and she stops him, and in their resulting shouting match, he admits that it was his fault that she got spiked. She drank his drink that had the drugs in it. Lauren is shocked by all the lies that he told about this, especially after all her trust issues. Aadi says that he'll make it up to her. Lauren says she knew someone once who used to say things like that to her.
His name was Joel.
And then she says that. Why did they make her say that? Obviously she's talking about Joel. Don't say that.
His name was Joel.
That was awful. I was like,
so
please,
terrible.
Please don't say his name. Oh, and then she said his name. Oh, just bad. Just bad, bad, bad.
Terrible.
You've got to trust that the audience has been watching this for a while.
Right. I mean,
they know who you're talking about.
The audience knows more than the writers do half the time when it comes to continuity.
Yeah, apart from us, obviously. She goes to Nina's Rolls, where she's shocked to find that Asha already knew about this, and Aadi just got out of his tits to get over Amy. And at that, Amy comes in, shocked by what she's overheard.
Yes.
So Amy goes to see Aadi, but he'd rather be by himself. She asks if it's his fault Lauren's drink was spiked, and asks why he's been avoiding her, and he apologises for everything and asks her to leave. When Asha comes in, Aadi accuses her of deliberately telling Lauren about Amy and suggests that maybe she fancies Lauren for herself. Asha tells her not to be so fucking stupid, and says that he brought it upon himself. Aadi tells her that she'll probably end up killing somebody, just as Dev and Bernie come in demanding an explanation. So Aadi comes clean and tells Dev about Lauren spiking and his part in it. Dev tells him to leave before he does something he'll regret, and so he does. And
He
later,
didn't do it on purpose. She picked up a drink that wasn't hers.
No, and I loved it when Amy was talking to him about it and said, well, this isn't the same thing.
No.
What you did was by accident.
Right.
And thank you, Amy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amy, for understanding the definition of what happened here.
Right.
It wasn't something that was done deliberately. It wasn't really a spiking. Nobody spiked Lauren's drink.
She just picked up a
It
drink.
wasn't her drink. She shouldn't have been drinking it.
Hers. Party 101. Don't pick up a full cup of something that you didn't pour yourself.
Seriously. Later, though, after a nasty run-in with Theo, they're all back home and Dev asks why Aadi is punishing him. Aadi says living up to Dev's expectations isn't easy. Dev thinks he's failed and he's spoken to Vikram, who has offered Aadi a job in India because he can't support him here anymore. And that is how we end this week's episodes.
You can't legally force an adult to move to another country against their will, Dev.
No, but Dev can stop paying for Aadi's lifestyle and...
Well, he can kick him out, but
he
he
can
has...
kick him out.
Is he going to fire him from Allahan and Allahan and Allahan? Because he's a part owner.
One of those and Allahans could quite easily get removed.
Right, he could just get his job back at Freshco's.
I'd hate if this is the way that Aadi's gone out of it.
Yeah.
But it feels a very easy way for that to happen.
Right. It's better than killing him off.
If I hate when people move to Scotland, when it's a country that's, as we've discussed, is even bigger than Delaware, Helen. India's even bigger than that.
Yeah.
With just like 1 billion people in it.
And more populous, yes.
So say the name of a city, Dev.
Yeah.
Say where Vikram is. If it's Mumbai, just say Mumbai.
Yeah. If it's somewhere else in India, just say somewhere else in India.
So I would have preferred, and maybe
what
we
is
still
this?
get this.
And what is this job? What does this job entail? Because as you
doing
pointed
the same
out,
thing that he's doing here.
as you've pointed out, Vikram is a drug smuggler.
Or he was about 20 years ago.
It's not an easy business to leave, is it? It's kind of like the mob.
He was in it through force and threat.
Okay, well that's okay then.
At least it was at some point.
Okay, but you know what I mean.
What I was looking forward to, and I don't think we're getting, as far as Aadi's departure was concerned, was going to be him and Brody. There was going to be a him and Brody thing, and that was how that was going to end.
No, they may still do that.
But Aadi cares about what his dad thinks too much.
Which he really shouldn't, because as I just recently pointed out, Dev left him to die in a car accident.
Yep.
So Aadi should maybe think about his dad less.
And maybe that should have been brought up in this argument.
Right? You left me to die. I did like the fact that Dev spent oodles of money to keep Asha's nude photos off the internet was
that
brought
got
up
cast
again.
yeah.
That was good.
As was the fact that Aadi then went on to date the girl whose fault that was.
Yes.
Although it wasn't really Kelly the Chin's fault, was
No.
it?
No, not really.
It was ITV Corrie for taking the video in the
Right.
first place.
Yes, exactly.
What did you think of the wedding, and did it have to end up in the hospital?
It didn't have to end up in the hospital.
Jeez.
Just go back and finish the vows in front of your friends. Billy's there. He can do it. You don't need the other guy with
That's
the
right.
cord thing.
Billy doesn't even have to go to the hospital. They come back because they go back to the bistro anyway.
Right.
And they get their little dance.
Right.
Billy quite easily could be the one that's there to help me clean up because that's the sort of boring shit that Billy does.
And also, as I pointed out, they said family coming to the hospital. Billy is technically still family.
Yeah, if Brody's there.
Right.
Brody, you come too. And it's like, what?
Billy is Bernie's son-in-law. He should be there, marrying them. That would have made so much more sense than them kind of just marrying themselves.
Because I don't think we count this as being a successful wedding then.
No. I liked that, she also went with an orange theme like Gemma did.
Gemma's wedding was, if you'll remember, inside an orange. It was that orange.
They even threw orange paint on the walls of the church. It was stunningly orange.
I was at the bistro as well.
No, it's at the church.
Was it?
Yeah. Billy married them in the church.
Oh, yes. Yes. I remember.
We got there in the end.
Yeah. I'm just so disappointed that because the Dev and Bernie wedding was always going to be kind of light-hearted and stupid, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's what you want.
So it's different from a romantic, younger
Right.
wedding that we've had in the past.
Yeah.
Even the Gemma and Chesney one was kind of played for laughs a little bit. But the Maria and Gary,
David and Shona.
Fizz and Tyrone. So you kind of expect something to go awry. And with weddings, you normally think that something's going wrong because it's drama and things going right
Right.
doesn't lend itself to much drama.
Yeah.
But you don't have to go to the hospital.
No,
every
no. For
fucking week.
the wedding to be interrupted by an allergic reaction to flowers. And lilies are fairly common. You would think you'd think that Bernie would know that she's allergic to lilies far sooner than 65 years on this planet. You'd think that she would have figured it out before now that she's allergic to lilies. It's not like it was like a rare flower. They were lilies. They're tiger lilies, but they were still lilies.
Yeah, I was really disappointed that it ended up in the hospital.
Right. I expected, if there was going to be drama, it would be like Auntie Rani coming in and...
I was expecting that. I was expecting Auntie Rani to gate crash the wedding. Say,
Right.
no, this union is cursed, or whatever.
Right. Sure.
While burning all our money in front of them and laughing maniacally. And then showing people how to really work that pole. That's what I was expecting. Yeah, I thought that was... It might as well have ended up at the police station. Just a disappointment. What I didn't think was disappointing, though, Aadi, as he's explaining to Lauren what happened, and all the way through, actually, I thought he did a great job. The tears that he was crying looked real as he's facing up to what he'd done. But, the things that he's admitting to always sound worse weeks later.
Exactly. If he had said it right away, look, I'm so sorry. I think you grabbed my
You
drink.
drank my drink?
Yeah. I think you accidentally picked my drink up because my drink had the hallucinogens in it.
Yeah, who gets upset about that if they find out the next day?
Right.
She'd be like, oh, thank God that's what it was. I thought I was losing my mind.
Right.
Amy's right, though, because Amy says to him that they were getting on great. Then he suddenly started shutting her out and ended up going out with Lauren and refusing to speak to her. And that's bad patter from a friend.
Yes.
Especially when Amy was looking for something a little bit more romantic as well. But then she did say it was like kissing a fish or whatever.
Right.
Or she felt nothing.
Right.
That's what really triggered all this.
Yes,
was
absolutely.
the disappointing kiss.
Right.
Such a shame.
Yes.
Oh well, that was the week that was Coronation Street. Helen, tell me, what was your moment of the week?
Steve on the pole. It can't be Steve on the pole,
It can't be.
but it's Steve on the pole. It's got to be Bernie related, but the whole wedding
I don't know
in
if
the
it's wedding
hospital.
related. I don't know if it's wedding related.
Dav right out of the shower.
No, again, I'm filing that along with Steve on the poll.
George's chest hair. That was my moment of the week.
I think that scene might be my moment of the week. I think
George and Jenny flirting.
In the cabin.
It was very cute.
You get the cabin.
You get the cabin.
You get Jenny.
You get George.
You get some flirting and a bit of George.
And a little bit more of George than we've ever seen before.
You looked good.
He looked
wet.
And hairy. He looked great.
I would not vote against that.
People are going to be so mad at us.
Nobody gives a fuck. Actually, the moment of the week is a very popular part of this podcast on the Twitter.
Right, exactly.
People clamour for what was your moment of the week.
People only care if we diss Swarla at this point, I think.
Yeah, we don't really do that.
No, we don't.
Because we've been standing Lisa Swain longer than anybody else has.
Right, yes, it's true. Of course, Swain is only part of that equation. But anyway, yeah, okay. Yeah, George and Jenny doing the flirting.
Fuck y'all.
Moment of the week.
Moment of the week.
Your boring moment of the week.
Kit explaining to Gemma that poetry doesn't have to rhyme.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because Chesney's right there. I'm putting the wash on.
Chesney's not in it enough to be boring.
He says one of his lines of dialogue is, I've put a wash on.
Yeah, but that's exactly something that Chesney would say.
Everything that Chesney says is something that Chesney would say.
No, it's Kit explaining to Gemma that poetry doesn't have to rhyme.
Oh, under duress.
That was a pointless conversation.
Boring moment of the week.
The curly hair thing was dreadful as well, but not exactly boring.
Yay!
This is a section where I ask our Twitter followers to rank this week's show in terms of yay, meh, zzz. Past few weeks it's been more or less an even split. And this week, yeah, it's kind of the same. Zzz, 29.5%, meh, 35.9%, and yay, 34.6%. Anne says, like this week, Monday and Wednesday mostly, the hen stag do and the wedding was classic Corrie. Felt the Swarla move was rushed between the bigger stories of the week, which was a shame. Too much Theo, and Dev disowning Aadi was just crappy. Laws says, really enjoyed Wednesdays, the closest thing to real Corrie in a long time. Tonight's has good scenes with Tracy, Amy and Jenny, but bogged down with Theo and the awful Aadi stuff. And Russell says, Monday and Friday was good, save for the Kevin Abi sabotage. Wednesday, not so good. So, some mixed views there. Helen, when it comes to scoring this week's shows, we don't take any of that into consideration. So, what score would you give it this week?
6.5.
I would give it a 7. I enjoyed it this week.
Yeah. It was, I mean, we would have preferred for the wedding to just be a wedding.
Sure.
There's enough drama there with the whole Auntie Rani calling Gemma a slag and, you know, all the other stuff. And Aadi's confession and everything. We didn't need, and Brody trying to rob the house. We didn't need Bernie is rushed to the hospital.
Agreed. But yeah, other than that, I thought it was pretty good. And
agreed.
As our correspondents have said, had a classic Corrie feel to it.
It really did.
All right, we'll wrap this one up then. This episode was brought to you with thanks to our friends of the podcast. Daisy, French Helen, Pickles, DT, Wendy, Noel, Canadian Helen, Christy, Shandy, English Victoria, Aurora Yvonne, Heather Westerfield, Russell Whiting, Jackie B, Brittany Porter, Laurie Anna, Tina, Stephen, Leah, Tara J, Fiona B, Canadian Jennifer, Josephine O'Tingy, Anne Greenwood, Trish R, Sarah Purbrick, Alison Quinlan, Hunker Munker, Darren, the artist formerly known as Seal My Fridge, Pamela, Marge JT, Tom Ambrose, Christopher Anstey, Terry in LA, Joe T, Corey Dales, and Matthew McInerney. Whew. If you've ever been married in teal, write in to tell us about it. We're thetalkofthestreet@gmail.com and we're at Corrie Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads and Blue Sky, or reach us the old-fashioned way, The Talk of the Street, P.O. Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan, 48827. Our spoiler show will be available shortly after this one, and in this month's classics, we're talking about episode 1. Get access to this exclusive content by becoming a friend of the podcast at ko-fi.com, that's ko-fi.com/The Talk of the Street, or patreon.com/The Talk of the Street. Check out voggle.co.uk for links to our merch store, YouTube channel and blog. And if you're so inclined, please leave a rating and a review on the iTunes or your podcast provider of choice. And be sure to check out our pop culture sister podcast, The List of Lists.
That's not a naked gun. This is a naked gun.
Thanks for making it to the end of another episode. And we will be back next week with more
The Talk of the Street.
The Talk of the Street.
Bye.
Cheerio.